Hey yogis, I've got a bonus video here, and this one's called Why Vegans Should Exercise a Lot. And well, let's start by saying I've got a soft spot for vegans. Um, and it's because they are really focused on what is right for the world. They are so um, ideologically focused, most of them are ideologically focused on animal rights and taking responsibility for those who cannot take responsibility for themselves. I think that's really honorable. Now, I'm not a vegan. I've never have been a vegan. Um, and so this video does not relate to me. But I thought I would put it here because it's something that really gets missed a lot in the conversation about vegan food. So um, I've been wanting to make this video for a while, and the main reason why I decided to make it was because um, I saw last month on SVT, the TV channel, that there is a Swedish cross-country skier, Edvin Anger, who eats 7,000 calories a day. And I just thought that was completely absurd. Now, we have a lot of vegans in the Ashtanga community, and because it's such an active meditation yoga practice, it does tend to burn a lot of calories, and so it can be quite useful for those who are having a vegan diet. And I'll get to that in a minute. So, how do vegans get their nutrition? Well, vitamins and minerals are easy because you can just supplement. And obviously, being in the Ashtanga community, I know a lot of vegans, and so I see how they do it. Some things you can take through the mouth, and other ways to take sublingually, and some different ways. So a lot of vegans take B12 shots once a month, and they get their vitamins and minerals, and that's quite easy because vitamins and minerals are very small. But what about macros? What about the important things that take up more space? So they're much harder to get in. So I'm thinking macros, not only the macros as people think of them, fats, carbs, proteins, so on and so forth, but what's in those macros that is essentially important. So essential fatty acids and essential amino acids. The trick to getting this, and I guess this is the summary, is to eat a lot. Okay. And so if you're going to eat a lot, because vegan food in general is generally low on both essential fatty acids and essential amino acids, you just need to eat a lot of food. Now that can be a problem because if you eat a lot of calories and you're not burning those calories, then you don't have calorie balance and you'll start putting on weight, which has its own health problems. Okay. So exercise is the key way to maintain that calorie balance. Now, I thought I'd put an example on here, and we can do some numbers because the numbers are pretty easy to do, and I've actually written this out beforehand. I've got my notes up there and I'll look at them when I need to. Okay, so many vegans are only vegan for a short time, and you can look at the Epic Oxford study or a bunch of different studies on this. So for them to maintain this diet without negative health effects is not so difficult. But Ashtangis in general, Ashtanga practitioners, tend to have a lot of discipline and tend to stick to things for a very long time, especially routines. So who makes it work? And who's healthy? Well, one of the best ways to look at who's healthy is to see who's really performing at the limit of human capacity. And those high-performing vegans out there, there are some specific examples. The most notable example is probably Rich Roll. He's an endurance athlete, and he has been for very many years now. Okay, he's probably the most famous. And then there's also Scott Jurek, Fiona Oakes, Hilary Biscay, all either ultra runners or long distance triathletes like Ironman or other sorts of endurance athletes. Okay. There are many more of them as well. You can do some Googling there. Okay, so back to the example. If we're going to take one of the two, I think it's easier to talk about essential amino acids as opposed to fatty acids. So what are amino acids? That's our protein. So there are 20 amino acids. Of these, 9 are essential, which means the body can't produce them themselves. Okay, and of them, there are 4 of them that are tricky to get on a vegan diet because they're not so prevalent outside of animal products. Okay, and they're generally lysine, methionine, threonine, and tryptophan. Okay, so rather than going into each an individual amino acid, which basically I don't have time for, okay, we can just talk numbers in general protein sense because we'll be pretty vague about this. Okay, so without getting detailed, let's say that you probably need about 100 grams of protein a day. Especially if you're an Ashtanga, you're probably active. This is conservative because plant protein is often low quality protein, more difficult to absorb because it's less bioavailable, so on and so forth. The soy is pretty good, though that can have negative effects with it. Okay, so I'm getting detailed. Okay, we'll just say 100 grams of protein a day. Copilot, who I asked while I was prepping for this, says that an inactive female needs about 1,200 to 1,400 calories a day. Okay, let's take 1,400 to be conservative. Okay, maybe you're not really small. Okay, 100 grams of protein is 400 calories of protein over that 1,400. Now that's 29%. So nearly 30% of your calories need to come from protein. That is impossible on a varied vegan diet. Literally impossible. So unless you are active, you will, or you're just supplementing with huge amount of powders and things like that, you're not going to be able to do it. Okay. If you have a more active lifestyle, and I went and looked in my Garmin and averaged the last 3 years of calorie expenditure, and I got to about 3,200. It was 3,184 or something like that. Okay, so for someone like me who's not specially active, I'm not training hard as I did before kids. You know, I'm a dad of 3 young kids, so I'm pretty relaxed in the training, but I do a bit of sport, and I have quite a big Ashtanga practice as well. Okay, so 3,200 calories a day, 400 calories of protein over that is 12.5%. This is very, very easy to do on a vegan diet as long as you pay a bit of attention. So you can't just eat goodies, but a generally healthy vegan diet and you'll be able to get 12.5% of protein. Okay. You can't just eat goodies, but yeah, otherwise. Now, someone who is highly active, who is burning about 5,000 calories a day, okay, they would be able to, well, let's do the maths. So 400 calories of protein, maybe they'd need a bit more than that, okay? So 450 calories of protein over 5,000 calories a day, that's 9%. You could do that just eating chocolate. And actually, I've been eating chocolate while I've been prepping for this. That's a yummy one, dark chocolate. And hang on, let's check if it's vegan. Ingredients: cacao massa, socker, cacao schmear, have salts, vanilla extract. It's in Swedish, but yep, vegan. And the protein is 9.1%. So yeah, easy peasy to do. Okay. I'm not telling everyone that you have to exercise that much, but I'm just saying if you are struggling on this diet, then by all means go and see a nutritionist, but also consider the other side of the equation. Go for a run or a ride, be active, and you'll find it much easier to achieve a healthy diet. All right, that was a bit of an unusual video for me. I don't tend to go into nutrition advice or veganism especially. It's not my thing. But yogis, I'll see you on the mat. Bye.